Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. I think that's, just want to make sure that technically it's okay. I think we're ready to start, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali kulli wa sahbihi kulli ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa akhlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Welcome everyone to another Quranic journey, and inshallah we are going to continue from where we left off last week. Essentially, we are reflecting on uh, verses in the Quran about the Quran, showing the Quran as the book of wisdom. So in that case, that we cover, I think it has been quite a long time that we're covering these categories of how we should perceive the Quran, and we define, and it has been a few weeks we're discussing the example of Quranic wisdom. And last week we covered certain verses that how indeed Quran guide us to see the wisdom in the creation, to look at them in terms of to read the indicative meaning, to look at them in terms of seeing the manifestation of the divine names, or to look at them to see in terms of the qualities of the creator manifested within them. So in a way that our point was that the creation, the universe, is a very open, very clear, very convincing evidence for us that we're supposed to make connection with creator by observing those evidence, those signs. And the Quran is elegantly referring to them with many, many verses. And the issue here is that as we study creation through education, through the secular lens, so in a way, we are either covering up those, not paying attention to them, or we attribute them to certain causes, certain laws, and using, in a way, a fancy language that becomes, Dr. Ali referred to this as a balagha of modern times, that the eloquency in you playing with the words and tricking people like a magic with such fancy concepts. So in this regard, to really to reveal the false ideology behind the fancy concept, it's very important that we engage in very sound reflection, very sound reasoning. And that's in a way what we try to do in this weekly Quranic sessions. So we're trying to look at the Quranic verses and reflect on the creation and use the reasons to see how we can negate the false ideology and bear witness a very convincing, clear signs. And we have many verses. We covered, several of them last week, and inshallah, we're going to continue on several more today. And I think I don't know the number, but it's in hundreds. Those are just an examples to, in a way, help us um, how to read those verses and benefit from them, inshallah. So let's start, Dr. Ali.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thank you.
Thanks.
As you said, it is really important to notice that how the Quran is asking us to communicate with my Creator through his observing his act of creation out there. And the Quran is not inviting people to believe in God just because the Quran tells this or says so. But the Quran says, go and work, look at, investigate my work, and you will understand who I am. And then you will understand you are a piece of this universe and see the connection between yourself and what is out there in the creation, and see, connect yourself with my work as the creator is speaking in the Quran. Only after that you are convinced about that the creator of this universe is also my creator, because we have to have the connection between myself and the universe and see the wisdom in it. See the wisdom in it. So that through the wisdom, you will understand that you have an owner, you have a creator, and he positioned you within the universe. So that is somehow an unfortunate appearance that in the Muslim world, it is not really very common, or as much as it should be common, that communicating with our creator, with our owner, through his work. It is not emphasized enough as the Quran does it. That is an unfortunate cultural heritage. But we have to be careful how the Quran instructs that the human beings, that we should communicate with the Creator. That is why uh, I thought, or with Dr. Najati, it is better to collect some, not all of them, some verses, ayat of the Quran, and show that, look, the Quran is really seriously emphasizing on the importance of it, of the creation, so that even the prayer is asked us to pray, to supplicate God through the observation of the universe. So we cannot really avoid the creation. We have talked about it a lot in previous discussions, in previous gatherings that we have here together, or Saturday morning, starting from uh, Ramadan, last Ramadan. And we are always talking about the universe, creation, creation. Why? That is the only way we can communicate with our creator, find out the creator, and see the importance of communicating with my creator through observing, being convinced that I am created by the one who created this universe, and that is why I turn to him, I supplicate to him, and believe in him that he is going to satisfy my needs. That is not direct communication with God. Through the universe, communicating with God. That's what we are learning from the Quran. Let's read these verses that we have selected. Now, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This verse is from 31, Luqman, Surah Luqman, and ayat 10 and 11. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. خلق السماوات بغير عمد ترونها وألقى في الأرض رواسي أن تميد بكم وبث فيها من كل دابة وأنزلنا من السماء ماء فأنبتنا فيها من كل زوج كريم. هذا خلق الله. It's beautiful, very clear and simple. هذا خلق الله فأروني ماذا خلق الذين من دونه بل الظالمون في ضلال مبين. It's a beautiful, simple, very clear ayah, verse. Now, let's read it how it is beautiful, really. It is in the translation, it shows that the beauty of, but somehow reflects, somehow represents the beauty, somehow. But in its original language, it is so really shocking. He created the heavens without any pillars that you can see. We will talk about it. And he placed firm mountains on the earth in case it should shake under you. No. And he spread all kinds of animals around it. We sent down water from the sky, that which we made every kind of good plant grow on earth. All this is God's creation. Show me then. Show me then what others might have created. No, the disbelievers are clearly astray. Now, it seems to be a desire uh, saying that God is just saying, I created all of them, and the other things cannot create anything, what others might have created. But come on, show me. Of course, the people say, no, the things are happening by themselves. Yeah? For example, look at this. Without any pillars that you can see, of course, we see that the the relationship between the stars and galaxies are really suspended in the sky. And they say, no, no, no, there is a repulsion and attraction power. You know, this is just what they see. They take a picture and say that, there is a repulsion because we see that magnetic field repulses and attracts one side the other side. Now, but this is just what we observe in the universe. It doesn't mean that there is something externally existing out there, but we see that there is a relationship between them, but this relationship doesn't prove that there is something agent arranging the relationship between the mass of or stars and galaxies. That is what we see, how they exist. It doesn't explain why they are or how come that they exist in this way. That is the tricky language, as you said. We have to watch out for the language, what they say. But when they speak, we talked about it previously, when they speak that, for example, matter attracts, there is a power, but these are observations. These are not really showing that there is a conscious agent, conscious factor, really keeping the distance between them. I don't know whether it is clear. No. Observation and saying that there must be a power between them. Show me that is just power. It's the name. This is just a name. Now, there is no such thing, but this is how the universe has been established, how the universe is being created within this perfect order. So, for example, even if you say there is a relationship between the north and south pole of the magnet, yes, there is. But it doesn't mean that a physical being is there attracting, pulling it or pushing it back, repulsing it or attracting it. There is no such thing. They know this, but they don't say it. They know, we don't know how it comes that they attract each other. This is what the Quran says, without any pillars. We have to know that Quran speaks to human beings as the human beings experience the world. No, in our human life, we know that without any support, we cannot keep anything in air. So we have to have something to support it. Of course, for example, uh, if you want to put something up there, you have to have the pillar underneath it. But this is a description as the human being's experience of the world. But in fact, when God asks us to look at the universe, and there is no pillar in our age now, you cannot externally show, demonstrate the as they called magnetic attraction and repulsion power. That is what the Quran is saying to the audience, to its audience of the 20th century, 21st century. There is nothing that they can prove that this is the one it is pulling. There is no physical existence of attraction and repulsion, as they call it, power. But we will see in the other verse that is how God's order is established. We should not, I mean, how, because our minds are so much conditioned that using this power of attraction, power of repulsion, so magnetic field, and also gravity. No one, no, ask physicists, not the language that they use it. Can you ever show gravity? Can you ever show gravity? It is a law. Law what? Law, when I see that this is the order, how the things are created. There is no such law existing physically out there. No one can ever show it. But this is how we observe it. Oh, our minds are so conditioned, we cannot think of opposite. They cannot show it. There is no such law. But we know that the things are created within an order, and this orderly creation cannot become disorder. That is why this orderly creation is called law and made it as if in the universe there is law existing. There is no such law. I don't understand. I don't really feel that enough emphasis on it.
Okay.
Difficult to show. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can I can feel your pain.
Yeah.
So because I think it's like it is it's always remind me this Mehmet Akif's things when he says that I can cry, but I cannot make you cry. I feel from my heart, but there is no tongue of my heart to tell you what I feel it. I feel like you have something in your heart and you're struggling to tell us because we are all are brainwashed through the secular ideology. Now, I was thinking as you were explaining, I'll try to think through analogy. Let me try to explain to see whether it makes, clearer or sense. So essentially, when you go through the schools, they say, like science has an explanation. Yes, the planet, the stars, and the skies, they move because there is something called gravity, and gravity essentially means that there is a law out there. Then the objects attract each other based on the size and the distance between them, the mass and the distance. And then we can even give you the formula. And Newton actually has that formula, though Einstein has a different way to explain that. So, and we calculate it really works. Now, the point here, what you're saying, no, actually, there is no such thing called the gravity holding those giant objects. The gravity is the name that we use to describe how those objects are hold it in the space and moved with extreme speed. So it does not have an external existence, is the name they use it. Now, what is the analogy? Is analogy like this? It's like we see, let's say, millions of cars moving very fast, and there is a certain distance between them, and then there is no driver inside them, and the cars keep moving and moving and moving for hundreds of thousands of, let's say, years. We say how those cars actually move, because the cars cannot just move by itself. It needs energy. They say, no, that is actually, the cars pulls each other. Okay, did you see anything's pulling? No, we don't see that. But is there pulling? Yes, because it's very orderly, following each other and moving in this orderly manner. And then rather than attributing this to, say, there must be force and power moving them all, since they don't believe in that, then they come up with the idea. They say, there is invisible power called the power of, let's say, attraction. And that is the one that really pulling them together. Then if that's the case, what you're saying, prove it to me. What is that? Can I go and see that? There's no such thing, as you mentioned, in terms of proving the very external existence of that. Same apply to, again, like the houses that you mentioned. And I think I put it in a beautiful way. We know from experience, whenever you build any structure, even a tent, you have to put a pillar to hold the ceiling now, and then you put on some ground. So now we're looking, and we see, like, let's say, mosque and some places, when they have very few pillars, we become amazed. How come you can have such giant ceiling with only 4 pillars? And we praise those guys. And now you look at the sky, there is no pillar. You look at the stars, they just flying in the air. The analogy will be like this. It's like someone will start to actually learn how to build houses in the sky, in the atmosphere, and those houses are just floating in the atmosphere. And but they use an amazing engineering. And then over time, when they ask, they say, how this house can actually stay in the sky? They say, oh, there is really some power, and they attract each other, and therefore the house can stay there. But why I cannot do that? Why there's no single house out there could do this way? So that is what I think what you're saying, that it's really, they are tricking us with using the, let's say, the magic of their title, and say, look, if I have a PhD from MIT, you need to listen to what I say and believe in me. So, and they abuse this title and think as if we are a mindless person, we have to just accept that. It's complete superstition. It's not logical. It's completely irrational. But in the age of, in age of reason, in age of, let's say, I don't know how you could make people to believe in that. So, and I certainly understand your pain, and I, struggle with that as well everywhere when we go for the 5D education, to tell people that, what they tells you about, the gravities, about this law and that law, is nothing but the names invented by those people who do not believe in God, and who make you to disconnect creation from the creator. And I think that is very painful situation.
You know why? One day I was working with, I was really tired, and I wanted to complete an article I was working on, and I got tired. At the last paragraph, I couldn't really concentrate, and my sentences were perfectly arranged, or arranged somehow well. And I said, let me go and ask AI to put it in order. I said to order wrote and the prompt. So look, I'm very tired. I couldn't really just wrap up this paragraph, the last paragraph of my article. I said, do you get also tired like me? and, and another amazing thing I understood after asking this, what would you say? What is your personal idea as an AI? I said, as an AI, whether my paragraph makes sense, is it logically consistent or not? Answer is, I am, I work only as I am coded according to my algorithm. I don't get tired. I am not a human being. I have no personal idea. Did you get it? I only work as I am arranged, as my codes are written, as my algorithm is established, however, I don't know the language they use, set up. That's what I work. I mean, I have no personality. I have no consciousness. I am just using the data according to my codes, as I am coded. I am a mission, but it answers this as it is coded. So if one says, for example, AI told me, yeah, I learned from AI as AI the teacher. Now AI has no personality. It is just codes. Codes are functioning. There is no code and plus a personality. Do you see what I mean? Is it clear? There's no personality. That is only codes. There are only codes, written codes. So AI knows. AI doesn't know codes to function. AI, there is no as AI. So the laws, these natural laws, the gravity, these are just observations how the things exist. Just our observation, as you gave the examples, Dr. Najati, you gave the examples. This is what we see. And because the order does not change, orderliness always there, although everything within the order continues to change, but this continuous change also is taking place within an order because everything is wisely arranged. So Quran from 1450 years ago says, show me. That's very, very clear language. Aruni, show me, physically show me that's in the universe. Show me what others might have created. Every materialist physicist or biologist knows that matter has no power of itself, from itself, to choose, to create, to know. Nothing. They have no power, but they are acting as if they have, like the AI is acting, as if they have external personality. For example, I have my external personality. I, a human being, my spirit. Now, but and if you say, do you like this one? I say yes. When I say yes, I have my spirit says yes, not my body, but the universe. The universe's spirit is what the creators, how the creator has created it. That is the universe's spirit, if you like. That is how it is created. We have to understand that. For example, as we know that the DNA writing, DNA order, is information written there. But this information is the order. We will see it. We will see it. God writes this information there in codes, and we will see that this information cannot come out of the matter. They are different category existence. They are different level of category existence. So matter cannot produce information. If you ask them, if you ask the physicists, can matter be the source of existence of information? And is there an equality? No, because matter and information are different category of existence. Out of matter, information cannot come out because matter has no quality to produce information. And everybody knows it, but unfortunately, they don't explicitly say it to the public. They speak as if there is an external order there, there is an external gravity there, externally existing gravity there. Is it that this gravity personality is pulling the others or uh, repulsing the things, repulsing it? But this is the order. We have to be very careful. The Quran challenged, show me gravity, show me power of pulling, show me. That's very clear language, not an irony. It means show me, very clear. It's very exciting. The language of the Quran, no one can ever show it. So,
I think this is that one a brief highlight on this ayah. I think you brought very original understanding. So when let's say a person without education look at the sky, they say, "Oh, there's no pillar." But you're saying this pillars here is actually means there's absolutely nothing out there. So it
yeah.
doesn't have to be pillar in a way, or there's no pillar out there. No, there's no pillar, there's no force, there's no gravity, there's no power, there's nothing out there. It's essentially is the manifestation of the ilm irada of qudra of Allah pulling and pushing them. That's what he say. And the second one, when he says, show me, is there anyone else who create? Essentially saying that creation everywhere in everything at every stage belong to the creator alone, because no one and nothing has the quality to produce anything from themselves, because they are powerless. They cannot even sustain themselves. How can they produce something else? So that's therefore when Quran is challenging, say, show me, meaning that show me whether there's anything that inherently has the necessary quality that can actually produce the associated output. If not, like, yes, you can see that there is a string between two cars, but you study the string, you find the string has no power to pull the car. Then you say, no, it's not string to pulling. There must be something else because string is powerless. So I think here that's what's, even if you discover something out there, that something has no quality to be the source. And the source is absolute. That's all. And I think that is a very, very beautiful challenge to the whole humanity.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue. It is difficult, after being trained 20 years, 24 years in this secular education, it is really difficult to say that there is no such gravity. That's what they call it, the law of gravity. Law of gravity, law of gravity. Show me the law. The Quran says, Eruni. Show me. Now that this is the order, naming it. Order, naming the order, that's how it happens. Typical example. Do you remember you gave an example back some couples of weeks ago? You said if somebody, uh, for example, in a house, the child comes and finds the breakfast ready at 7 o'clock in the morning. Every day breakfast is ready on the table, comes there, every day. And one day, if there is no breakfast, he says, no, there must be. But there's a law. But he doesn't know mother prepared it every day, 7 o'clock, so that he will go to school, for example. For example. So this is a law that if you like, accumulation of memory of our previous experiences. Always happening in this way, always happening in this way. We write down. If you want to have the breakfast, it happens there on the table ready at 7 o'clock. That is the law. But there is no such thing. There is an arrangement, conscious arrangement. We will see more uh, ayats about this. Bismillah. Again, I just read this one. The universe is like a living body, like a living body. Its spirit is the manifestations of the qualities of its creator. Quran calls it Esma'ul Husna, qualities of its creator, because this way of creation has many aspects. Every aspect, every quality that we see in the creation, in the created beings, demonstrates that it is source of existence, is the source of this quality. Looking at that, for example, simple example is better to use it. When you look at a book, you see information there. You read the information. Now, what is just an example? The information demonstrates the knowledge, yeah? So when you read the book, when you look at the book and read the book, you got the information. This is information is the quality of the author, not deriving from the pages. Anytime I open the same page, I see the same information. So information is coming out of the page, paper, piece of paper. That's what the concept of law, concept of quality of matter is developed. Every time in the same page, the same information comes. So there must be a law of information coming from the paper. But Quran says these are the qualities of the one who arranged the book and made it the book. Not book is not collection of paper sheets. A collection of paper sheets is not called the book. So we call the book means there is an order, there is an information in it. And the Quran says these informations, any kind of information you get from the book of the universe are the demonstrations, manifestations of the qualities of its creator, its author. So these are called Esma'ul Husna. Bismillah. نعم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله الذي سخر لكم البحر لتجري الفلك فيه بأمره ولتبتغوا من فضله ولعلكم تشكرون وسخر لكم ما في السماوات وما في الأرض جميعا منه إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون. It is God who subjected the sea for you. Now it is and consciously arranged. Now, and the one who arranged it, it says, it is the one, the creator. God means in the Quran. What does it mean? God in the Quran, the one who is the creator of the universe, the one who is administrator of the universe. With the language of the Quran, we have to say, God, Allah means Rabbul Alameen. Allah means Rabbul Alamin. Elhamdu lillahi Rabbil Alamin. Definition of God. Now, we don't imagine a God out there. No, Rabbil Alamin. Whoever is created the whole universe with its entirety is called in the Quran God, Allah. So it is God who subjected the sea for you consciously. Now we have to pay attention now. The relationship between me and the universe is presented to us to our attention now. It is consciously subjected, uh, the sea is consciously subjected to you by the creator of the universe. Ships sail on it by his order, not buoyancies, not to the water is just, it is arranged in this way. It is ordered to be in this way. It is given existence in this way so that you can seek his bounty. Now, it is deliberately done. There is a relationship between you and the way the sea is created with this quality in this way. There you see that there is a relationship between you and the universe, purposely done, and give him thanks. You can see his bounty, benefit from it, and give him thanks. He has subjected all that is in the heavens and the earth for you, your benefit, as a gift from him. Now, it is very, very interesting that so that you can thank him. Look, God created the universe. What is this? What is, was, why he created and what is he expecting of us, from us? What is he expecting? Just acknowledge and thank you. Thank you. I'm very pleased. I am very pleased that you gave me existence. I am very pleased that you gave me needs. I am very pleased and happy that you provided the needs so that through these needs and provision to satisfy the needs is the arrangement so that we can know there is a conscious creator behind it. And be honest, we have been given the quality to understand this, and also we have been given the quality to be thankful for any favor which is done for you. So just give him thanks, or ibadah, worship, supplications are expression of our thanks. I'm very pleased. I am not an uh, ungrateful person. You gave me the sense of being grateful for any favor. I am just being as I am created. So he has subjected all that is in the heavens and earth for your benefit as a gift from him. Yeah. وَسَخَّرَ لَكُم مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ جميعا, all of them. إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون. There truly are signs in this for those who reflect. For those who reflect. Now, just I wanted to make it, but didn't have time. Inshallah, I will try to do this. If somebody gives for example, a bunch of rose to a cow, what does the cow do?
Eat?
Yeah?
They
Start
eat, maybe.
like this, takes it with the tongue. So But if we do the same thing, give the same kind of rose, bunch of rose, to a human being, what does he do? Does it start eating?
No, smell it, but we shouldn't forget, you make you could make something sweet from that to eat as well, right?
No, no, it's a presentation, it's a present. Now it's a present
Correct.
that is a gift from him. So what do? You try to see that you understand that this man has a good intention. This man has a, uh, love, interest in communicating with you, expressing something. Yeah? Try to read it. That is what the difference between animal and a human being. What the materialist people do. Here is the universe. We have to benefit from it as much as we can. But Quran says, no, you can benefit, of course, use it, benefit, but the universe is a gift to you. And just be thankful, understand what it means that the universe is arranged for you. And the Quran says, have a good relationship with your creator. Don't be ungrateful. Be thankful. Be grateful. Now, but of course, the condition the Quran says, "İnne fî zâlike leâyâtin liqavmin yetefekkerûn." There truly are signs in this for those who reflect. For example, the cow. Does the cow reflect on the meaning of the flower? That is what the Quran is asking us. Not an extra thing, Dr. Najati, just asking us to be as we are, human beings, as we are. I call it, or I mean, that is the general understanding. Iman, being honest to our Creator, is just not contradicting your reality, just how you are. Don't condition yourself that I'm going to reject my reality. Okay, let's move, inshallah,
Yeah,
to
only a
another.
few points if I can. So I think that there are two things I want to really bring it here. One is, as you mentioned, that to be aware of your humanity, to not stay in the state of animality. Yes, animals is also creation, but animals obviously they can mainly live in a bodily way and satisfy their bodily need and desire. As a human, when we become, there's hayawan, that's animal, then bashar, in a way that you get some emotion that's different than animals, that animals don't have that. But when you become insan, in a way that the mind, the logic comes as well, you actually wonder, you get question. But I think it's the highest level that when you start to use your subtle faculty, including heart, that you start to actually deal with the malakut dimension of creation, that now you, in a way, become like malaika and reach to the highest level. So the point here is that we live in, let's say, in a time that the culture or the civilization is taking us toward animality. Why the Quran is actually inviting us to use our full potential to reach to the, to understand the malakut sign of creation and to, in a way, ascend to the highest level as the creation in the best form. So in this regard, the problem that we see essentially that when we reflect in creation, if we can see the signs through which that we can read that, then we can see the malakut dimension, the meaning dimension of creation that is going to help us to ascend. But when you go through the education, if the secular education tells you this is not the sign, this is not God, this is the laws, this is nature, this is buoyancy, and when Quran says no, this is the amri, then it's really, obviously you face the problem. You say, okay, shouldn't I learn about buoyancy? Isn't part of my curriculum? And is it wrong? Our point here is that you can learn buoyancy, but a buoyancy is just the name of the orderly creation out there. Is not something that has external existence that do some things. So when you learn about buoyancy, don't really give an agency to the buoyancy as if the buoyancy is the one that make the ship to sail on the sea. Know that things can only happen with the power and knowledge and will of God. He is the one moving the ship on, sailing the ship on the sea. So in this case, then I think that is our challenge. That we think, am I going to reject science? No, you have to put everything in a proper place. In science, when they describe the observation, they give agency. They in a way leave no room for the creator. We are saying this is just a concept, but the real power that manifests behind this transparent veil of causes is the infinite power and infinite knowledge. So that is, I think, in a way that we want to really emphasize. And when the ayah here it says everything is his gift, normally with things, oh, maybe it's an apple and orange, and does God made our gift? No, here we talk about ships. Ships is a man-made, but actually it says this is gift as well. So in a way, basically saying that since no one other than Allah has the power, everything, including what comes through human, is the gift of Allah. That some comes through the soil, through the cows, and some come through the scientists. What is the difference? No difference from the Quranic perspective. Therefore, everything is gift and everything's from the Rabbul Alamin. And I think that is very, very beautiful way of really looking at the life and looking at the creation of Allah.
Now, is why I was listening to you, I wrote, naming the order, putting a name, and then thinking that it has an external existence. Did it summarize? Well, naming the order, how it happens, thinking that it has an external existence. Go back to this your simple but of course clear example. Simple means the best, better. So better example is understand seeing the breakfast every day at 7 o'clock, naming it. Breakfast is ready at 7 a.m. And later on, experiencing the same thing again and again and again, years and years and years. And then thinking that existence of the breakfast at 7 a.m. is an order, and this is the law, and this law exists. But the one who prepares the breakfast is forgotten. There is no such law. That's your just observation. Inshallah, we should speak a lot, because if something, especially if someone gets something wrong, a habit, it is difficult. We are addicted, if you like. We are addicted alcoholic people. We have to admit this. We have to be brave enough to be a person who are given alcohol every 20 years of education. All along the 20 years of education, we got alcohol. We are all alcoholic of materialist way of thinking. Now, go and ask this treatment or alcohol unanimous uh, institutions. It is very difficult to really get out of this addiction. It is very difficult. So if I believe and I feel that we have to have another 20 years of treatment, saying that getting out of this addiction, materialist way of thinking. Most of the people, definitely believes that there is an all uh, gravity pulling the sun and the moon and the earth and arranging all this perfectly. But when you look at the moon, it is a calendar for us. It's perfectly arranged to be a calendar, consciously arranged. And we say, happen to be there because of the size of the mass of the moon. But it is arranged in this way, perfectly. So order is the way the things are created. Order itself doesn't have any external existence. That is what we call it order. But there is no order out there. Yeah, for example, there is a moon, there is a sun, there is an earth, and there is an order, a fourth element. No, there is no fourth element. Why naming the relationship between the moon, the sun, and the earth is that's why naming it, putting a name for it, identity. No, this is, we have to be very careful, and we keep repeating this. Another 20 years, so they get this, how they say, uh, anti what? The name of the word. Uh, the cost, uh, what was the word?
Detoxing?
Poisoned, and get this out of poison. This is called as, there's a word. Uh, the Somebody help me. Or they,
Detox?
No, I think detox is yeah.
no, no, uh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's I think it has yeah, I know there's a word
The
that
comes and goes.
yeah the words that's when you yeah antidote. I think that's one.
Uh,
That's antidote.
yeah, that's what you got this something the word. Let me see. The cost, detox.
No,
Huh,
not detox. I think the other one.
not antidote.
Antidote.
Antidote?
Yeah, I think that's what they call it. That's something that go against the poison. The
Yeah.
uh,
No, no,
cancel the poison.
now getting out, get rid of the poison.
Yeah, exactly. This is cancel the poison.
Yeah,
Antidote. That's it.
antidote. Maybe I don't know the word. So, 20 years of poison, another 20 years of training to get out of it. Inshallah, we need it. Wow, wow. What's that? The time is up, Dr. Nejati.
Yes.
Somebody is pushing the clock.
Time is relative, It's when we start the program, move faster.
Yeah. So we have to reflect. We have to use our intelligence, our brain, question. We should never stop questioning. When we hear something, question. I will challenge that. If you read the Quran, question it. What does it mean? What do you mean? Why do you say this? Questioning. Human beings are uh, learning something by questioning. So especially when this materialist interpretation of the events taking place in the universe, we have to be very precise. Which language they use? Which language they use? For example, let's say, just came to my mind, fish, fish swims, uh, swims in the sea. No, fish does not swim in the sea. It is not fish, does it? It is created in this way. It is arranged in this way. Fish finds itself as it is created. It is not the originator. Fish is not the originator of swimming. It is created in this way. Now, we say human beings think. No, I am created with the ability to think. I am not the source of existence of thinking. I am created in this way. For example, another simple example, the computer functions in this way. No, computer doesn't function in this way. It is made to function in this way. It is not the source of the existence of functioning itself. It is made in this way. That's why we have to be very careful with the language we use. All the languages about the existence of anything are poisoned with the secularist language. We are not aware of it. We have to wake up. We have to be careful about our language. We have to be clever enough to ask, what do I mean by this? We say, the birds fly, the tree grows. No, it is created in this way. They don't do it. The tree is not the source of existence of growing. It is created in this way. Tree doesn't know how to grow. Now, that is what we have to keep purifying, clearing, whatever the word is, the poisoning our language and consciousness, inshallah. Inshallah, we will continue.
Very good. But I think I want to add it even to that expression. When we say the bird is created in a way to fly, we're not saying that the bird is given ability to fly. We're saying actually the very flying is also the act of creation. So in other words, when the Quran says amsik, it says who is holding the bird in sky, is basically saying that every moment what the birds flying in the sky is the direct act of creation. It is not that the bird is given ability to fly. Yes, the bird is created. That's the question. I recently got it as well. In a way, bird is created with certain, let's say, qualities to manifest the creation of flying, but the bird is not created with the ability to just go out and fly itself. So, and that's applied to the tree, that's applied to the seed, that applied to the cows, and everything is like this. So I think, which means that every state of every being at every moment is the creation, is not the causation, is not the ability that given or granted to them. I think we can end it here, inshallah. Thank you very much. And again, so we are reflecting on those verses from the Quran, and inshallah, we will continue more. There are many, many verses like this. We need to pay attention to the word. We need to reflect on the meaning, and we need to ponder and ask question. And I think that's what's really, Dr. Ali is referring to that. So inshallah, let's end it with dua, and we'll continue on more of those next week. Okay.
Just a minute, just a minute.
Okay. I think, yeah.
Antidote, yes,
Yeah,
antidote.
Yes.
Antidote, detoxation. I was wondering this. We have to get, inshallah, antidote every week as much as possible. Antidote. We need antidote for 20 years. All of us here, all of them are at this university educated, right? At this university trained. So not there. How many years in the elementary school, middle school, high school, university, college? How many years altogether?
We're talking about 16 years, like around 16 years.
13,
16.
almost 20, 18, 19 years.
Okay.
We have to get another antidote, 18 years, repeating the same thing. These laws do not exist externally. No one can show it. No one can show it. There is no such thing. This is just observation of how the things exist. Nothing more than this. Inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا إن الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر سورة الفاتحة.
Thanks, everyone, and see you next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.